The conveyor belt slows to a stop in front of the young man. A boiling mug of sludge sits bubbling in front of him. A mechanical female voice calls out,
"All ingest."
over and over again.
All ingest.
The young man looks around as all of the other people greedily guzzle the sludge.
All ingest.
He watches as an elderly man's neck bulges and sizzles as the thick oil slides down his esophagus.
All ingest.
The man cringes as it slides past his uvula, burning the first few layers of muscle.
All ingest.
The young man glances down at his mug as a piercing alarm sounds. A harsh spotlight hits him from above.
All ingest.
He picks up the mug and the alarm silences.
All ingest.
He brings the rim of the mug to his lips.
All ingest.
He starts to drink when suddenly the door bursts open.
All ingest.
A middle-aged woman in a corporate outfit raises her hands and waves them furtively.
Stop! Stop! Wait!
She screams.
All ingest.
1 week earlier.
Can I take your order, please, sir?
The young man steps up to the counter, still eyeing the menu. I'll have a bacon, egg, lettuce, tomato sandwich.
Bagel or sourdough, sir?
Oh, bagel, for sure. Thank you.
Roll up the rim to win?
The young man looks back inquisitively. Excuse me?
Roll up the rim to win, sir?
The employee looks back like the young man has a learning disability, not providing any additional information whatsoever. The young man looks around for any advertising material, but doesn't find anything. Is that... I'm sorry, I'm not sure what that is, the young man says plainly, but I'm just wanting the sandwich, nothing additional. The Tim Hortons employee presses a button on her drive-thru headset and whispers a code phrase into the mouthpiece.
$13.50.
She says as she extends her hand for payment. For one sandwich? The young man says as a potato sack is forcefully lowered over his head in a billy club used to knock him out instantly. 2 days later.
Say it with me, class. Roll up the rim to win. Roll up the rim to win. Roll up the rim to win.
The teacher encourages her students to participate. All around the room, eager peons recite the chant with the teacher. An elderly man practices the characteristic rolled R that so many folks have trouble with. Roll up the rim to win! Roll up the rim to win! He repeats again and again.
Young Chrysanthemy Taylor, why aren't you reciting?
The teacher snaps her yardstick down on the young man's desk and narrows her eyes at him.
Roll up the rim to win.
She begins to chant.
Roll up the rim to win.
Young Chrysanthemy begins to chant along, but without the passion. Roll up the rim to win. The rest of the class devolve into chaos as they march around the room screaming and hollering their chants, making sacrifices to the Lord and smearing feces along the walls. 2 days before. The old man gurgles and sputters up blood as his last living act. The doctors, if you could call them that, put a long, ribbed tube down his throat as he vomits up his internal bleed. Young Chrysanthemy watches as the old man seizes in bed as the last of his life expels. A group of maintenance workers come in and hose down the room with bleach and lye. The old man's body lies in repose, rotting slowly, while young Chrysanthemy scratches the floor with a spoon, trying in vain to carve a tunnel to freedom. The day before.
I never thought I'd have these feelings here,
the young lady says as she reveals her chest to young Chrysanthemy. The young man paws aimlessly at her chest, batting her breasts around like a cat plays with a dying mouse. Young Chrysanthemy flicks her nipple with all his might, says, "I'm gay," and then exits his tent. A woman in corporate attire approaches young Chrysanthemy Taylor from across the common area.
Young Master Taylor, what keeps you up at this hour?
She asks as she takes notes on her clipboard. She flips a few pages, finds the appropriate sheet, and waits for the young man's response. Harlots and Jezebels, he states calmly as the young woman exits the tent, buttoning her blouse.
My word!
The woman from corporate excitedly jots down some notes on one sheet and then hurriedly flips to another to continue writing notes. I'm really hungry. Is there anything to eat, Middle Mistress Tate? The young man asks as he bashfully toes the ground. The woman from corporate straightens her back, puts her clipboard at her side, and places her pencil behind her ear.
You will not address me by name, and you will not ask me for sustenance, young Master Taylor. Is that understood?
And with that, she sulks off into the shadows, triggers a door with her keycard, and exits the common area. The very morning. As the needle enters the young woman's neck, young Master Chrysanthemy Taylor sees her personality shift permanently. Just moments before, she had looked at the young man with embarrassment and a hint of lust. Young Chrysanthemum was remembering the way her nipple hardened after being flicked when he knew she was changed. The look in her eyes dissolved into nothing. What was once a person with thoughts and emotions became a thoughtless shell constantly repeating, "Roll up the rim to win." Young Master Taylor ducks out of line and hurries down the nearest hallway. He slips into a tent when he sees Middle Masteress Tate making her afternoon rounds. Inside the tent, the young man finds the autonomous remains of the old man. Half dissolved with lye and half replaced with synthetic skin, the old man sits in his tent plugged into a humming generator. That scene from the beginning. The young man raises the mug to his lips as the woman from corporate ceases everything. Middle Masteress Tate slowly walks over to young Master Chrysanthemum Taylor.
Young Master Taylor, you didn't roll up the rim to win,
She states plainly.
Why?
She asks. The young man ponders and looks at his mug. There, on the mouthpiece, was a small, overgrown piece of metal. Young Master Chrysanthemum Taylor uses both of his thumbs to slowly and painfully peel back the metal mouthpiece, shredding the skin on his thumbs in the process.
Read your prize to everybody,
The woman commands. The young man holds the mug in his bleeding hands and reads aloud the tiny printed word on the inside of the mug. Freedom. 2 years later. Anthony Taylor pulls up to the Tim Hortons drive-thru and orders a bacon, egg, lettuce, tomato sandwich on a bagel. And he orders a small coffee, too. When the lady at the window hands him his order, the young man drives to a nearby parking spot and dumps the coffee out of his window. He uses his teeth to peel back the small cardboard label on his coffee cup to reveal his prize. 1 free bacon, lettuce, potato sandwich? The young man throws the coffee cup onto the ground and spits at it. Stupid fucking promotion. 30 miles away. Middle Masteress Tate enters a boardroom on the 45th floor of the World Trade Center to meet with Tim Hortons CEO Randy Wallace. Tate, the numbers are terrible on this roll up the rim to win thing. Nobody knows anything about it. Kids these days want 7 Brew and Mormon sodas. What the fuck are you doing to save our asses? The CEO demands. Middle Masteress Tate smiles knowingly to herself.
Oh, sir, we've been doing a lot to increase the education and sales of this campaign,
She says as she laughs maniacally, louder and louder. End.
Penis.
Penis.
Fucking penis.
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 She got it.